It's a very good morning to you. Let's bring you up to date with what's happening in Ukraine, because hundreds of families, including many children, remain trapped inside the besieged Azovstal steelworks in Mariupol. A third evacuation convoy is reported to be arriving this morning, but Russian forces are accused of breaking a ceasefire, making escape impossible. Gargi Patel has more. Trapped inside the steel plant, we know that the UN Red Cross buses, the hope is that they'll arrive this morning, but I'm just reading the latest UK military intelligence update that Russian forces are continuing ground assaults there. It's such a terrible situation, isn't it? The convenience store chain McCall's is on the brink of collapse, potentially placing thousands of jobs at risk. The retailer's confirmed Heard returned to the stand yesterday to testify in the multi-million-dollar defamation trial involving her ex-husband Johnny Depp. She described the alleged escalation of violence in their relationship, and breaking down in tears, she relived moments where she says he kicked and slapped her and even threatened to kill her. Our North America correspondent Noel Phillips has more. Also this morning, Buckingham Palace has said that the Queen... That's it, you're up to date. Are you OK this morning, Ben? I just want to check you're feeling all right. I'm sorry to have to be the bearer of bad news.
Yeah, I'm actually going to focus all my anger towards you now.
Oh, my fault, is it?
No, you could, yes.
It's important they're up to date with these things. I'm doing them throughout the morning.
Charlotte, I'm using Ben's response to West Ham London as a bellwether, an example of how politicians might be responding.
Exactly, it's not my fault.
No,
Pictures so far in England. Labour have 31 councils, Conservatives 18, Lib Dems have gained 3, while the Greens have none so far. This represents a major loss of 90 seats for the Conservatives, while Labour have gained 57. In the last few minutes, Labour have taken Westminster. That's the first time since 1964. And overnight in Wandsworth, Labour have taken control for the Conservatives for the first time in 44 years. Barnet and Southampton were other gains for Labour. The Lib Dems took Kingston upon Hull from Labour in the first change of the night. And a newly formed council, Cumberland, was won by Labour. Now, the results so far don't include any councils in Scotland and Wales. Counting there starts after 8 o'clock. And in Northern Ireland, they voted to elect members of the Stormont Assembly, which will determine who is the next First Minister. Results there expected later on, with Sinn Féin hoping for an historic landslide victory. So, what could this morning's results mean for the next general election? Well, in 1995, Labour managed a big lead in the local elections when Tony Blair was challenging Prime Minister John Major. Then in 1997, Blair went on to win a landslide victory in the general election. And in the 2009 local elections, the Conservatives had a lead over Labour when opposition leader David Cameron was challenging Gordon Brown. Cameron then went on to become Prime Minister the following year. But it doesn't always work that way, because in 2004, the Conservatives secured a lead over Labour at the local elections. But Tory leader Michael Howard went on to lose the next general election in 2005, with Tony Blair winning a third consecutive victory. So it may be too early to tell how this morning's results will impact the next general election. But so far, Labour have gained control of key councils from the Conservatives, including Westminster, Wandsworth and Barnet.
Charlotte, thank you.
Right, let's go.
Good morning. Let's bring you up to date with developments in Ukraine, because Russian forces in Mariupol have continued their ground assault on the Azovstal steel plant for a second day. That's despite Russian statements claiming they would seek only to seal it off. That's according to the Ministry of Defence this morning. It comes as a third convoy is reported to be arriving to evacuate many civilians later, including children trapped inside. Gargi Patel has the details. People who are trapped. We know that there are hopes that those UN and Red Cross buses will arrive later to rescue people, but with the Russian bombardments continuing, it still looks like a really tricky situation. Stay safe. And you're up to date. Back to you both. I mean, Ben, sorry, I ran out of time. I can't even give you a football mention, despite popular demand.
So when you say you weren't going to give it a mention, and now you're going into it.
Can you please keep reminding Ben what happened to West Ham last? The viewers were demanding.
Appreciate that, Charlotte.
Yeah,
thanks, as ever, for your support in my time of need.